No, you're the alpha male. I'm the beta male.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Welcome to the Douche Fantasy Football Podcast.
Welcome to the Douche McAllister.
As if there isn't enough white guys doing this, here's two more. Yeah! I'm Garrett.
I'm Timothy.
And we're douches. We leave a lot of people unsatisfied.
Yeah, except we're going to win you your league.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to give you the best of the best advice going forward.
But I don't really care if I win you your league. I just want to win me my league. I don't care about myself.
Timothy.
I got to beat this guy over here because Garrett has won 5 fantasy championships in our league.
And honestly, I'm probably on the biggest losing streak, too. I haven't won a championship in like 4 years.
Wow, dude. That's terrible, man.
So
you're kind of like the Yankees of fantasy football, and I'm like the Mariners.
Yep.
I've never even been to the World Series. I'm a fantasy football guy that likes baseball more than football, so take advice from me.
First, we're going to start out with basically recapping week 2. So who's on your radar this week?
My top waiver right now is Tank Dell. Tank Dell, Houston Texans running back.
That's definitely an interesting pickup because...
You know why he's my top waiver? I bet you can guess why.
Awful this week. Past 2 weeks, really.
Yeah.
Why? Because you want to name your team...
Because I want to be all Team Tank. I've already got Tank Bigsby on my bench.
Who doesn't want to start a player named Tank?
No. Tank Dell, didn't he kind of go off this week? I don't know how to get.
I mean, yeah, he has a lot of high upside, and honestly,
I'm gonna look up Tank Dell's stats right now.
Damian Pierce is pretty much been a dud this season. A lot of people are on high alert, thinking he could be potentially dropped if he continues the way he's playing. Honestly, if Josh Reynolds is on your waivers as wide receiver, I'd definitely pick him up. He's done well both weeks. Amon-Ra has kind of been hurt this past game, so...
Don't you say anything bad about Amon-Ra.
Yeah, but he's still a viable option, and if you're looking for wide receivers and you didn't get Puka Shell, he's definitely a pickup you can get this week.
You think Josh Reynolds is going to be consistent? He's going to be a consistent producer? I think he's just like a one and done. Like, yeah, he came on this week. He got the benefit of Jared Goff's attack, but is it going to be something? Are the chances that he's going to do it again that high? You know what I mean?
I do think so. Their passing attack is pretty great. I mean, if you look at their offense, I mean, David Montgomery has not been great. He kind of got hurt too this week, so their backup, I don't know his name honestly, but the guy's filling in that role. But I mean, they're throwing so much to Gibbs, and they're as a running back, and honestly, Jared Goff is a great quarterback. I mean, there's a reason why he was picked number 1 overall back in the 20-aughts, whenever he was picked first. But honestly, yeah, I mean, I think their passing offense is their strong suit, and Josh Reynolds should be picked up in week 2 waivers.
All right. And we have Josh Reynolds there for hot waiver pickup for heading into week 3. Tank Dell, just getting back to Tank Dell's stats here. Week 1, he only had 4 targets, 3 receptions, but week 2 he had 10 targets, 7 receptions. I gotta look up his snap count, but I'm pretty sure he was on the field for a ton of snaps. So Tank Dell seems like another guy to me where he's like a Tank Bigsby or Devon A-Chain, where if the starter goes down for that team, then you got an amazing running back right there. Or he could just work his way into a workload.
Yeah.
His way into the 1, but I don't know.
Honestly, if you missed out on any players week 1 and they weren't picked up, you got to pick up Kyron Williams. He's doing amazing. Cam Akers, obviously, healthy scratch. Probably going to get traded or just sit out.
Healthy scratch for practicing poorly.
Yep, practicing poorly. What kind of reason is that? I've never even heard that before. Honestly.
It's a healthy scratch.
Yeah.
But
yeah, another wide receiver, Jaden Reed, he kind of played well this week. He had 8 targets, finished with 2 receiving touchdowns, and only 4 receptions. But, with Christian Watson out, if you have need at wide receiver, that will be another option too as well. Jordan Love's been passing around pretty well. So if you're looking at quarterbacks too, there's a lot of good streamers. We'll talk about that later. But anybody you think you'd like to target in trades after these first 2 weeks?
You say Jaden Reed?
Yep.
For the Packers?
Yep.
Not too hot on Romeo Doubs?
Well, I'm assuming everybody is probably rostered Romeo.
Everybody's rostered. He's not rostered in our league, is he? We're in a 10-team league.
Yeah. I mean, I would assume he's rostered in most leagues. But, yeah, I mean, I feel like Jordan Love's only getting better. So, any viable options, wide receiver.
Full disclosure, Garrett has Jordan Love on his bench.
Oh, yeah.
He's probably going to start him next week. Trade targets. So I'm trying to do some trades right now. I kind of wanted I've been there's a guy in our league. He's been trying to shop his Jets players after discount double check went discount double down for the season.
Yep.
And
those 5 snaps.
Those 5 snaps, yeah.
4 plays and
down
one.
Down on 9/11. Never forget. The worst thing to ever happen on September 11th in the United States. Anyways, yeah, the Jets, that kind of sunk their whole team really, and they're really not. As we all know, Zach Wilson's not really the dude. He's not him. So everyone else on the team is kind of taking a hit in their stock just because of that. And there's a guy in our league trying to include Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall in trade packages with me. And I'm not interested in Garrett Wilson because he's more directly affected by Zach Wilson. Breece Hall I'm interested in, but to me it seems like his lingering injury, it's still affecting his play. And there was something else. Oh yeah, was it the tweet? He sent out a tweet where he only got 4 touches this past Sunday, and he tweeted out 4 footballs.
Yeah.
So I really want to buy low on Breece Hall. I would have to trade Jordan Addison. I could trade Jordan Addison for him. But Jordan Addison is another guy whose stock is rising, so I'm not really wanting to do that. I have Darren Waller on my roster. I want to dump him. I'm so regretful that I think it was a 5th round pick to get Waller. So
I would hold on to him, man. Waller's gonna start getting way more targets. Daniel Jones, I think, but their offense is gonna start ticking.
You surprised me when you said Daniel Jones was the top quarterback this week. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
so
QB1 for this week. Surprise.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a surprise, I guess, since you're playing Arizona.
Yeah, that's
team.
true. You gotta take that into context. I don't know. Josh Jacobs, our guy received plenty of.
He's definitely a buy low.
Yeah, buy low for sure. And I don't like to go for players that just outperformed and went crazy. I want to try to buy low guys that are getting tons of snaps, playing a huge percentage of the game, but maybe didn't perform that well. And so people are willing to give them up. And I'd rather sell high, treat it like the stock market, give away a player. Tyler Lockett, I have him. He just went off. I'd be willing to sell him high. But, then you always have that thing in the back of your mind where you think you're making a mistake because this player is just hitting their stride and they're going to keep going. You want to try to think about the weeks that are coming and, like, if it's going to be something sustained, maybe you want to hold on to that player. But if their production is just going to fall off, just, like, sell on that high note, get rid of that player. But I don't know. Those are the scenarios that I'm looking at. You got any trade scenarios? Or players you're thinking about?
I would be going after, anybody and everybody. Bengals, Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. He went off this week, but
you think Joe Burrow's going to have a bounce back, and the Bengals are all going to come back?
He'll
as well?
get healthy by the end of the season. If you really have a good roster and you want to bolster your roster with quality talent that hasn't been performing yet this season. I mean, Jamar Chase is someone huge, especially with Joe Burrow's injury right now. You want to target him in trades and try to package something. But
so who would you trade for Jamar Chase? You don't want to trade. Obviously, you don't want to trade you don't want to trade one of your high end guys. You don't want to trade a Tyreek Hill for Jamar Chase because that's you're not getting any benefit there. You want to try to swing like one of your RB2s or wide receiver 2s.
Yeah,
for Jamar.
I think someone who might even take Mike Evans for Jamar Chase, someone who's been outperforming.
You do a Mike Evans for Jamar Chase?
Oh yeah, and if they go for it, but I doubt even the Jamar Chase owner, you'd have to even add on to that because Jamar Chase is just a huge name.
Yeah.
But anybody performing well right now who is wide receiver 1 or 2 in your league. On any roster, just going after him, buying him low.
But if you wait one more week and then Jamar has another bad week, you might be able to swing like a Mike Evans for Jamar. Somebody might be real tired of 3 weeks in a row of bad production.
We have breaking news. Nick Chubb went down. Looks pretty serious. So.
Dude, I broke that news too. I texted you as soon as I saw that.
Yeah.
I was like, "There's no way you're gonna hear it from anybody else."
So it looks like you're gonna want to look, since he's the every down back for that team. You're gonna want to look at Kareem Hunt or looks like Jerome Ford.
Kareem Hunt, is this 2019?
Jerome Ford's another. They could be split in the backfield, but who knows? Somebody to look at on the roster
now. How high of a waiver priority claim are you willing to put in for Jerome Ford? Well, I was thinking about this.
If you have a claim, you don't even.
Well, yeah, waiver claim system, but I like how much fab are you willing to spend on him?
Well, waiver claim, yeah. I mean, if you need a running back, I would use it, but I wouldn't really use a waiver claim on Jerome Ford. But honestly, fab $1-2, and if you're not too worried, but if there's a league where a lot of people are needing a running back, I would try to go 5 to 8.
You don't think he can be the Hoss in Cleveland? He's not gonna.
I mean, Nick Chubb is just such a good talent. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to see. Just like Kyron Williams, it's like, holy cow, the dude went off, and who would have guessed? I guess he did well week 1 too, but and same with Puka. Some people weren't buyers.
Some people weren't. I wasn't. I didn't buy into the Puka hype.
Puka went for about $36 in our league.
Yeah, 36. As the player said himself, he backed up the Brinks truck for Puka, and it seemed like it was worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have to back up a Brinks truck at all for Kyron. I spent $0 on him, but
yeah,
it just goes to show you can't predict. You really can't predict anything. I started Joshua Kelly. Thought he would do pretty well. I mean, even against the Titans' run defense, that's pretty good. But it wasn't the case. Kyron was on my bench and scored a ton, but I'm not mad about my bench players scoring a lot because that just increases their stocks. Dude, I think so. I'm gonna say I think Garrett has the best fantasy drafting strategy. He scored. What was your final total? 155 this week.
Yeah.
This is a full PPR league. 10 team, so it's a little stacked. The points are flowing pretty easily. But Garrett scored. I don't know. He's off to a hot start. 120 first week, 155 second week, and his draft strategy. He took. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is just what I see.
Mm-hmm.
But like, he just went running back, wide receiver, running back, wide receiver. No quarterback, no tight end. Took Geno Smith, last pick of the draft. Tight end. Did you draft a tight end? Yeah, you did, but I don't know. Who it was.
My tight end was actually the last pick of the draft, and I didn't even pick a defense.
Yeah, he didn't draft a defense. So this is another thing he does, which I don't really think that's consequential at all. But what you did was you punted on the positions that I guess like I play every other year, so I guess like 2 years ago I'd forgotten. But like tight end really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Quarterback, I feel like, is becoming the new tight end. It's not mattering. You can't predict. Like, you can't really predict it.
Yeah.
Like, there's not the stud quarterback that's crushing the league. I guess Jalen Hurts was that last year.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I don't remember who it was. But this year, there's so many QBs to choose from that you can pick up. Unless you're in a super flex league, you can get Sam Howell. You can get Daniel Jones. You can get Geno Smith, who Garrett started this week and got him 30 points.
No, 23, but...
Oh, 23 points.
Yeah.
I'm
I
so
dropped
sorry.
Daniel Jones last week to pick up Jordan Love. And
now Daniel Jones on the waiver. You know what? I'm on my waiver, and because what I did, I drafted Justin Fields in the fifth round. I don't remember, and Darren Waller in the 5th or 6th. I don't remember that. But neither of those players has panned out. I know it's still early, but it just seems like you can get the same overall total season-long production from a quarterback streamer and definitely a tight end streamer.
Yeah.
But it just seems to me like quarterback is moving the way of tight end to where you don't need to draft those guys. It's much more valuable to stash your bench with quality running backs and quality wide receivers. Garrett had Mike Evans. You started with Mike Evans on the bench. That's how stacked you were at running back and wide receiver.
Yeah, I have Terry McLaurin on my bench and Brian Robinson, who I kind of was reaching for and late in the draft.
Yeah, and the thing is, you don't even need to trade those guys. Like, I would hold on to him. You could trade him for a tight end if you wanted, but what's the point? Because you can just get a great tight end streamer off the wire. It's a fairly unpredictable position. I think quarterback is like going the same way. I mean, look at Joe Burrow not producing week 1. All the quarterbacks that didn't produce.
Yeah, Joshua Dobbs outscored Patrick Mahomes this week at quarterback.
Daniel Jones number 1, CJ Stroud number 2 on the week. It's just, it's just wild out there.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would always use a quarterback that, even if you have a second one on your bench, which you shouldn't, but if you do, and use them as a chip for those people who value quarterbacks a lot and think that they need, quarterbacks on their roster, or a backup quarterback on their roster, because you can stream quarterbacks weekly based on matchup. You could have 2 or 3 on the waiver wire every week that are going to get you close to 20 points, and that's really all you need. As long as you have, great flex play, it's a huge advantage.
And we're back to the Fantasy Wizards podcast. We need Evan Coleman for the deep voice transition.
Yes, we do.
All right.
What's up your wizard sleeve, Tim?
What's in my wizard sleeve? It's Arrowhead Stadium.
It's the new segment we like to call Defense Wins Championships.
Yeah.
So if you're also smart, you don't really pick a defense early. You go after those high upside players at the end of your draft. So you're looking for defenses, aren't you, Tim?
Stream your defenses. Most fantasy players are streaming their defenses. Garrett, what's your defense pick of the week? Your streaming defense pick of the week?
I think Miami's defense will do well. They showed out on Sunday night, and this is their first home game this upcoming week against the Broncos, against Mr. Unlimited. He's been okay for fantasy. this past couple weeks, but Russell Wilson's will probably be turning the ball over. The defense with Vic Fangio, new coordinator in Miami, I think that's a great pickup for this upcoming week to start. But also the Commanders' defense, if you have them, hold on to them. I think they're a season-long, low-key, season-long defenses where you can hold on to them.
So you think the Commanders long term?
Possibly. I mean, the 11 points week 1, 10 points week 2.
All right. You heard it from the man himself, the Dolphins. Yeah, like Garrett said, it is good to try to go for a streaming defense that has 2 to 3 week potential. So look ahead for those future weeks to see who they got. Try and do that. My defense pick, the Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs, going up against the Bears at home in Arrowhead. Justin Fields is always good for a few sacks, a few interceptions every time. I know that personally. Don't ask me how I know.
Fourth round pick, Justin Fields.
Yeah, but that's my defensive pick, and I'm not going to be picking him up because I'm going to be starting Justin Fields.
Yeah.
So,
the only person you can start against your quarterback is Jameis Winston. He can score 30 fantasy points and give your defense
right. Yeah,
30 fantasy points.
Special player, Mr. Jameis Winston. Rest wherever you are. I don't know where he is.
He's a backup.
He's a backup.
The Saints.
For really?
Yeah,
He's still in the Saints?
Their car goes down. He's in the game.
Oh, dude. Oh, man. I don't ever root for injury, but I kind of want Carr to go down now. So
he's actually like one of the best backups in the league.
Yeah, he's
perfect.
Perfect
There's not
for
a lot of good quarterbacks in the league, so there you go. That's why.
Perfect for defenses to pick up against Jameis. But yeah, Justin Fields is Jameis Winston light. And Kansas City's gonna be home at Arrowhead, so I would take them. And
always stream a defense that's playing at home.
A defense at home, yeah,
You get that 12th man going.
And the opposite of if you're playing offensive players, particularly wide receivers, you want to try not to play them in bad weather. But if you can play a defense in bad weather, I think that's a good idea. Bad weather makes it hard to move the ball on offense, but it makes it better for defense to stop.
Oh yeah.
Another
reason why I picked Miami, they get the shaded side of the stadium, and the other side of the stadium for the opposing team is.
We all know that the Tropic of Capricorn will screw you down there. I don't know. Was it a Tropic of Cancer? I don't know what it is. All right. Next, we're moving on to tight end waivers for week 3.
Oh, Russell Wilson. Sorry.
Russell Wilson for tight end waiver.
No. They're playing the Broncos, Miami.
All right, we're back with the Fantasy Wizards podcast here to talk about fantasy football.
What's up your wizard sleeve, Tim?
What's up my Wizards sleeve? It's a big bag of dog poop because we're talking about tight end streaming. Talking about those loose tight ends. And we're back on the Fantasy Wizards podcast. Fantasy tight ends, we're streaming. It's a terrible position, but you got to fill it. Give me your top 2.
So definitely Hunter Henry and Cole Kmet, if you have them on your waivers, definitely pick them up if you're needing a tight end this upcoming week. But other than them, definitely Jake Ferguson and Zach Ertz would be good options this week.
What do you like about Jake Ferguson? How many targets is he getting?
I really just like his bland name. He could be anybody. And that's who he's probably going to be on the field. Anybody. No, but really, it just depends on Arizona. They're playing Arizona. And then Zach Ertz seems to be, getting the most targets out of any tight end so far. It's a great way to win a championship in real life is throwing to Zach Ertz a lot. I think that's why they're tanking.
If you're the Arizona Cardinals, it's a great way to win a championship.
You might be matchup independent. You just want someone scoring those targets, man, and he's definitely averaging about 10 points in fantasy these past 2 weeks.
You know, I like the Zach Ertz pick. I like it the most. 11% rostered on Yahoo leagues. 8 targets this past week. Ties for the high in the league. Actually, Travis Kelce leads with 9, but 5 tight ends after that with 8 targets, and Zach Ertz is one of them. Only 11% rostered, so more than likely he's out there. And competent quarterbacks will throw down the field. Have the ability to throw down the field. Will also throw to tight ends, but quarterbacks that are less competent, like Josh Dobbs is his name.
Yep.
For the Cardinals. So competent, I can't remember his name, but quarterbacks that don't have that skill in the NFL to throw down the field will a lot of times just throw checkdowns to tight ends. So Zach Ertz could really benefit from that, I think. Hunter Henry. Garrett, I know you have Hunter Henry in the league, but he is 55% rostered on Yahoo. So if he's out there, go pick him up. Had 6 targets this past week. Had a great game. 17 fantasy points in PPR. What'd you say? Mike Gesicki, timeshare also with Hunter Henry.
Yeah, it's kind of tough, but they're kind of throwing out those 2 tight end sets a lot. And, with Kendrick Bourne being out this past week, I don't know how long he'll be out, but, he had a fair amount of targets as well, probably 6, and they're value targets,
So if we're ranking them, we're ranking the turds at the top of the pile. You got to throw in one of them. Zach Ertz, number 1 pickup.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Assuming Hunter Henry's not out there. But, yeah.
Yeah, if Hunter Henry, if he's out there, go for him first, and then Zach Ertz.
Then I'd say Cole Kmet and Jake Ferguson.
Those are good options. I kind of like Tyler Conklin, too, now that Zach Wilson is the front center quarterback for the Jets.
That's true.
He can't pass deep down the field. That's why Garrett Wilson's stock is taking a hit. I would try to get one of those other guys that we talked about before that, but if Conklin is your only option out there, more than likely he's out there.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody else you want to talk about in the tight end section or the loose end section?
I think we talked about tight ends more than anything else.
Way too much, more than necessary.
They're the worst thing.
I'm going to get rid of Darren Waller. I'm going to do it.
Okay, I'll take it from you.
So you're taking from me? All right, fine.
Okay. Deal.
Yeah.